Hello and welcome to my personal top 10 creatures of Norse mythology. Number 10. Adumla. During the time of the forging of the worlds, two creatures were spawned, Ymir the frost giant and Adumla the giant cow. Seeing as there was no foliage, Adumla would feed on the ice. In doing so, she would produce great quantities of milk, which would feed Ymir. And while eating away at the ice, she would find the body of the first man, Buri, who would become the father of the gods. Number 9. Gullinbursti. Gullinbursti was a gift to the god Frey from the brothers Brock and Sindri as part of a bet challenged to them by Loki, the trickster god. The bet was that the brothers couldn't make items as impressive as the gifts Loki had just got for Thor, Frey and Odin. Even though Loki had Gungnir, the spear of Odin, Skidblade, the dragon ship, and a golden weaved wig for Sif, wife of Thor. The brothers had Draupnir, the golden ring, Mjolnir, the hammer of Thor, and Gullinbursti, the golden boar. The brothers won the bet, and Loki almost lost his head. Aside from being made of gold, Gullinbursti could travel over any type of terrain, including the ocean, and could fly. Number 8. Giants. Giants come in many different varieties, such as storm giants, frost giants, and mountain giants. Some use brute strength, while others rely on powerful magic. One of the two first living things into creation was the frost giant Ymir, also known as Orgelmir. After living several generations and fathering many monsters and creatures, he was finally killed by the three brothers Vili, Ve and Odin, and the remains of his body were used to form the mountains, oceans, trees, forests and hills of the new world, which they would name Midgard. Another giant of legend is the giant Utgard Loki, who used his magic to challenge the brothers Thor and Loki to competitions that they could not win, just to make a mockery of them. Number 7. Garm. Garm is a crimson-coated bestial hound tasked to guard the entrance to the underworld and obey his master, Hela, daughter of Loki. At the time of Ragnarok, while Garm is on the field of battle, he will come into combat with Tyr, the one-handed god of war and justice. Garm will consume Tyr whole, but in his stomach he will hack and slash from the inside, which will conclude with both of their deaths. Number 6. Freki and Geri and Hugin and Munin. Freki, meaning greedy one or swallow-wall, and Geri, meaning ravenous or rumbling belly, were the companions of Odin during his time at Asgard. At the feasting halls, Odin would always give his food to Freki and Geri, because he did not need to eat. Freki and Geri were lifelong companions to Odin, following him to the 9 worlds and being his guardians. The two ravens, Hugin meaning thought, and Munin meaning memory, were Odin's eyes and ears around the 9 realms, passing messages to the other gods around the realms, and constantly vigilant for any threats of danger to Odin. Number 5. Surtr. At the early years of Ginnungagap, deep within the heart of Muspelheim, lay the being Surtr, the fire demon. Even before the years of Ymir and Adumla, Surtr would spend years preparing for Ragnarok, forging his deadly fire sword, ready to strike down the gods. Number 4. Nidhogg. Living within the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree, Nidhogg would gnaw at the roots for sustenance, surrounded by other creatures that lived within and upon Yggdrasil, including many serpents and Ratatoska, the squirrel that lived within and would pass messages between Nidhogg and the eagle that lived upon Yggdrasil. During Ragnarok, when Yggdrasil is shaken apart, Nidhogg will leave the tree and will be seen over the battlefield, eating the corpses of the fallen warriors. Number 3. Sleipnir. During the early days of Asgard, a stranger approached Odin to offer to build him a great wall to defend Asgard, which Odin accepted. But unknown to him, the payment the stranger would ask for would be the sun, the moon, and Freya, goddess of beauty. Loki thought of a way to get out of the deal, by distracting the stranger's great workhorse, Svartalfari, by turning himself into a beautiful mare and convincing him to frolic in the fields with him. The stranger's work was unfinished, and Loki bared Svartalfari's 8-legged horse child, Sleipnir, who was given to Odin and would be the fastest steed in all of Asgard. Number 2. Jormungandr. Known as the Midgard Serpent, Jormungandr was so huge in size he could coil his entire body around the planet. Jormungandr would consume everything he could and grow in size, until Odin stopped him by grabbing his tail and forcing it into his mouth. At the time of Ragnarok, Jormungandr would battle with the Thunderer, Thor, who would manage to strike down the serpent using Mjolnir, but the effects of the great serpent's venom would take effect, and within 9 steps, Thor would drop to the floor, dead. Number 1. Fenrir. One of the sons of Loki, Fenrir was a wild animal, who the gods knew would cause mass havoc at the time of Ragnarok. Odin tasked Tyr to find a way to bind Fenrir. After 2 attempts with giant chains, Tyr visited the dwarfs to see if they could build something stronger, and from that visit, Tyr would return with Sleipnir, a rope made from near impossible things to find. To bind Fenrir without any struggle, Tyr challenged Fenrir to see if he could break out of the rope. But to make sure it wasn't a trick, Fenrir told Tyr to put his hand in his mouth, and if he didn't release him, he would consume his hand. Tyr sacrificed his hand to keep Fenrir bound. At his eventual escape from Sleipnir at Ragnarok, Fenrir would consume the All-Father Odin in one bite. Seeing his father eaten, Vidar would lunge at Fenrir, jumping into his mouth, and using his weapon, the greatest boot, would stomp down on the lower jaw, and pushing at his upper jaw, causing enough force to snap the great beast's mouth and ending his terror.
Hello, Ranos here, and I hope you've all enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like and even subscribe for episodes. And if any of you have any ideas for any other top 10 lists we can do, please leave a comment below. And we shall see you all next time. Bye bye.